My name is Emika. I run a small provision shop right next to Uzoma's old mechanic shop, so I saw everything that happened. I saw the day his wife, Ifunnaya, left him. I saw how he struggled to raise his daughter, Cheta'm, alone. And I saw the day she came back, looking for them, when it was already too late. Uzoma and Ifunnaya were young when they got married. She was beautiful, with big dreams of becoming a famous model. He was a hard-working mechanic, running a small shop in our town. When Cheta'm was born, everything changed. Uzoma was overjoyed, but Ifunnaya, she was restless. She didn't want to be tied down with a baby. I remember the night she left like it was yesterday. Uzoma had just come back from the shop exhausted but happy to see his wife and daughter. He didn't know that Ifunnaya had already packed her bags. "I can't do this anymore," she said. "I'm leaving." Uzoma thought she was joking. "Leaving? To where?" "To the city," she said. "I have dreams, Uzoma, big dreams, and I can't achieve them while being a wife and mother." Uzoma begged her to stay. "We can make this work," he said. "Cheta'm needs her mother." But Ifunnaya didn't listen. She blamed Uzoma for holding her back. She said his struggling mechanic shop would never give her the life she wanted. She didn't even look at her daughter before walking out the door. That night, Uzoma sat outside his shop, staring at the road, hoping she would come back. But she never did. Raising a child alone wasn't easy. Uzoma worked from sunrise to sunset, fixing cars, covered in grease and sweat. Some days, he barely made enough money to buy food, but he never let Cheta'm go hungry. I watched as he carried her on his back when she was too tired to walk. I saw him wash her school uniform late at night when she had only one set to wear. He would save every little money he could to make sure she had books for school. Despite everything, Uzoma never let his struggles make him bitter. He still laughed. He still played with Cheta'm, lifting her high into the air and calling her his little queen. And Cheta'm adored him. By the time she turned 14, she had become a little woman. She learned to cook and would bring food to her father at the shop every afternoon. It was a small thing, but it meant the world to Uzoma. I remember one day when she walked in with a plate of rice and stew. Uzoma had been under a car fixing something. The moment he saw her, his face lit up. "For me?" he asked, smiling. "Yes, Papa, eat before you faint," she teased. I saw the pride in his eyes. She wasn't just his daughter. She was his reason to keep going. One afternoon, a wealthy man from America, Mr. Williams, drove into the shop. His car had broken down on the highway, and someone told him Uzoma was the best mechanic in town. Uzoma didn't know who he was. He treated him like any other customer, respectful, honest, hard-working. Mr. Williams watched as Uzoma worked, never cutting corners, never complaining. "You're a good man," he said. "How long have you been a mechanic?" "All my life," Uzoma said. Mr. Williams nodded. "I own a car dealership in the U.S. We need men like you. Would you be interested in coming to work for me?" Uzoma laughed. "Work for you? In America?" He thought it was a joke, but Mr. Williams was serious. Within months, the paperwork was done. Uzoma and Cheta'm packed their bags and left for the United States. The poor mechanic from our small town was now working in a big car dealership, and his daughter was in a private school, getting the best education. Months after they left, Ifunnaya returned. I was sitting outside my shop when I saw her. She looked different, thinner, tired, like life had not been kind to her. She walked straight to the mechanic shop, but it was empty. Confused, she turned to me. "Where is Uzoma?" she asked. I looked at her for a moment. "Gone." "Gone?" "He and Cheta'm moved to America." She stood there, frozen. Then she stumbled forward, leaning against the wall as if her legs had failed her. She started crying, her shoulders shaking. "I made a mistake," she whispered. "I made a mistake." People gathered, watching her, but no one said anything. We all remembered how she left. She stayed there for a long time, crying, but it didn't change anything. Uzoma and Cheta'm had moved on. They had found happiness without her, and that was the price she paid for leaving.